Succubus are the low-ranked demons that takes the human's V-card in their dreams by controlling them. Those girls spend their time in the demon world and where they are forced to work. And because of that, their birth rate is declining. And there is a succubus screaming, saying that she needs a break, while complaining that why she have to work this late just to collect male V-card of men's. And she goes on by thinking that she just wants to lay around every day by doing nothing. After flying for a while, she realizes that she can smell a high-quality virgin. And while entering the room, she thinks to herself on why she is even doing this. And then the guy wakes up, and she says that her name is Lily, and she wants his V-card. But as a reward, he gets to ask her any type of dreams. Hearing that, he started to smile, thinking any type of dream. And after a while, they were playing a game, and he tells her to aim more accurately. Afterwards, she asks him if he really just want to play games inside his dream, to which he happily says that ever since he became an adult, he never had time to play video games. And he doesn't have a friend to play with as well. And he goes on by thanking her, saying because of that he can now do best at tomorrow. But this made her to blush. Afterwards, it's the year 2000, and the working hours is getting big. And because of that, the Japan's birth rate is declining rapidly. Afterwards, our MC was really exhausted, and he thinks that because of the overwork, he had to take the last train. And while walking through his apartment, he was thinking that he should eat and sleep, since he got work at the morning. And to his surprise, the succubus was at his door, shouting how long he is going to pretend on not being home. And after seeing her, he calls her. And she embarrassingly says that he should have said her that he will be late home. Afterwards, she says that he almost made her to get late on her job, to which he says that he was also doing a job. After that, she asks him to at least leave the windows open. Afterwards, she started to push him, to which he asks her on what she is doing, to which she just tells him to go to sleep since she can't miss her work. After hearing that, he says that he haven't finished eating the food, to which she says that he can just eat in his dreams, and every single food will be there. And she goes on by saying that since their clients losing the energy to produce, so they made this type of dreams to make them gain their energy back. Afterwards, she says that she can treat him with anything he wants, but she will take his V-card later. Hearing that, he was thinking anything he wants. And afterwards, she was cooking food, and she tells him that the food is ready. After serving it, she asks him on why he wants her to cook food for him, to which he says that home cooking is a luxury thing for him. Even though the food he buys is tastier, he still can't eat them to its fullest. And he says it's been a long time ever since he ate a warm food like this. And she was blushing to hear that. Afterwards, there was a billboard saying that they should enjoy the weekend in the hot springs. And then Lily started to shout, saying that she would also relax if she doesn't have a work to do. And she realizes that complaining about it won't help it, and she actually have to do the job. After coming to his apartment, she realizes that he haven't returned from his work, and she comes in opening the window. And after coming in, she realizes that he was sleeping at his bed, and she asks him on what happened to his work, to which he says that he got a break after a long time, and he realizes that he got knocked down for an entire day. After hearing that, she says that if he stay like this, his vitality will wither away. And she goes on by saying that the vitality is a source of his existence, and if it's gone, he will die. And she says that will also be troublesome for her too. And she tells him to go out on the next day off. And then he says that his day offs are really irregular, so he can't really plan anything beforehand. To which she says that he can go anywhere he wants in his dreams. And she says he can even go to the moon in his dreams. And hearing that, he was shocked, and he thinks anywhere. And after a while, they're in the amusement park. And she asks him, oh, why does it have to be amusement park in a countryside? But he just ignores her, thinking what he should ride next. Afterwards, he says that he used to come here with his family, and it was always fulfilling to him. And he goes on by saying that he is really happy, and it's all thanks to going out with her. But she was just blushing, thinking what he is even thinking. Afterwards, she was thinking it's time to work. And after coming in, she realizes that he isn't home. And then she started to go around his house looking for him, but he wasn't seems to be anywhere. And she thinks that the lights are on as well, so he must have went out to buy something. Afterwards, he blows a confetti all of a sudden, saying thanks for her work every day. And she shouts back, saying what is the meaning of this? To which he says it was just to surprise her. And he goes on by saying that he felt bad for getting dreams from her and not doing anything back. So he felt bad for her. And he goes on by asking her to tell him something that he can do. But she tells him to not worry about it, since she is only doing her work. But then he says that he doesn't have any particular dream that he wants to be granted. And he says that he just wants to show some gratitude. And in the end, without looking at him, she tells him to hold her hands. Afterwards, he asks her if holding hands is all she wants. Afterwards, she tells him to hurry up. And she was blushing. And before his hands could touch her, she was starting to shake, while blushing more. Afterwards, while sleeping, she was saying that he is really hopeless. And all of a sudden, an alarm ring. And she realizes that she was just have a dream. And she realizes that she overslept, and she decides to leave for work. And while flying, she was thinking that she should reach before he comes home. And so the succubus can't even control their own dreams. Afterwards, she was sitting near the window, and he was just going around his home talking to himself. But before he could go to his bed, she comes in, and she tells him that he has been talking alone in his room for a while. And this shocked him, and he asks her on when did she get here. To which she says that she had work, so she came here. And then Lily was thinking that she was sad for a moment, since she thought he was talking with someone. And then she goes on by saying that talking to himself is gross, since it will be just creepy if he started to speak to himself in his work. And she goes on by saying that if he is feeling down, he should speak to someone, since it will affect her work as well. To which he says that he doesn't have any friends to talk with, and also he can't talk with his colleagues. But then she says that he can speak to someone in his dreams. And she goes on by saying that he can have anyone listening to him. And it doesn't even have to be inhuman. Hearing that he thinks anyone. And after a while a cat meow. And she asks him, why he wanted the cat. To which he says that he doesn't mind getting ignored by a cat. And then he says he wants to keep a cat, and it will be bad if he leaves the cat home. Afterwards, the cat started to lick him. But looking at that, Lily thinks that it's her place. And she was angry. And suddenly, she says that she's going to take away the cat. But he was just confused. Afterwards, at the next day, he was doing something in his laptop. And it was late night. And then Lily comes in and asks him to go to sleep by finishing the work faster. And he tells to her that he is about to finish his work. Afterwards, she thinks that right now she can cling on to him, since they became a little close. And she comes in and smells his head. And she goes back thinking it really stinks and asks him if he took a bath. To which he says that he has been working so long lately that he forgets to bath. And then he finally finished his job. And she tells him to take a bath, since it will help him reduce the stress. And he realizes that he should at least take a bath. And hearing that, as she says that he can actually bath at his dreams. And she goes on by saying that he can take any type of bath as his please. And this shocked him, and he thinks any type of bath. And after a while he was sitting in a barrel, and she was blowing on the fire. And she asks him on why he wants to take a bath like this. To which he says that he wanted to bath like this once ever since he saw it in the TV. Afterwards, he asks her to join with him, since it actually got enough space for 2 people to get in. But she just says that she is a succubus, so she can't enter, while thinking on what she should do, whether enter wearing the top or not. Afterwards, he gets out saying that it's unexpectedly dangerous to blow on the fire. So he says that he will help her. And all of a sudden his towel falls down, and she was blushing really hard. Afterwards, at the next day, she was thinking that tonight is really cold. And she decides to finish her job real quick. And she comes in and asks him to go to sleep so they can start her work. But to her surprise, he was sitting in his bed having a fever. And she asks him on why he is sitting like that. To which he says that because of overwork, he got a cold. And he tells her to not come any closer to him, since it will be tough for her to do her job if she got a cold. And she tells him to worry about him, since succubus aren't that weak. Afterwards, she started to drag him to his bed, telling him to sleep. But he just says that fever always got him in nightmares, so he can't sleep. Hearing that she says that she can now show him a dream where he can go to deep sleep. And he just started to think about what he wants. Afterwards, he says that he can now go to sleep happily, since every time he gets cold when he was a child, his mother always made him feel at ease like her. And she says, while blushing, that he doesn't need to say any thanks to her, and she tells him to go to sleep. And to her surprise, he, as using her as a pillow, and she blushingly looks at him. And she was thinking that she didn't mean help by this way. At the next day, she was eating a dumpling, and she started to think that he will be happy when she gave him the dumpling. And she goes on by thinking that she doesn't really know anything about him. Afterwards, she decides to go around, since she got some time, while thinking it will help her in future. And then he was praying for something, and she comes in and asks him on what is he doing in the middle of the night. To which he says that today is his father's anniversary, so he is burning some incense. And after looking at his dad picture, she asks him on what type of person he was. And he goes on by saying that his dad always put their family in front of anything. And he logged out when the MC was still a student. And he thinks to himself that his dad might feel better after seeing him work really hard. And he thinks that he is not exactly there, but he just wants his dad to know his feelings. And all of a sudden, he says that he lost track. And he asks her to where she is going without doing her job. To which she says that she got a personal job to attend to. So she is going back. And she tells him to sleep faster since he got work. And he looks at her flying away. And he thinks maybe he should go to sleep like she said. And all of a sudden, he was sleeping at a table. And someone calls him. And it was his dad saying that he will get a cold if he sleeps like this. And he was surprised and he asks him, oh, why is he here? To which his dad says if he is still half asleep. And the MC realizes it's a dream. Afterwards, he remembers Lily leaving room, saying she got a personal work to attend. Afterwards, his father asks him if he is eating properly. To which he says he doesn't need to worry about that. Afterwards, his father tells him not to go overboard by working too much. To which he smilingly says thank you to his dad. And in reality, Lily was sitting in the window while he was thanking her as well. Afterwards, at the next day, she was talking to her manager, saying that it's rare for them to have a same shift. To which she says that she was on a trip for a week. Afterwards, she goes on by congratulating her, since she's actually doing good job for a while. And while blushing, she asks her on how she is doing, after hearing that she thinks for a while, and says that her chest has gotten bigger, because she is taking too many naps. Afterwards, her manager leaves, saying that's her appointment area. And before leaving, she tells Lily to take care as well. Afterwards, the MC says that he is a little jealous, since she is really too close with her manager. Afterwards, Lily tells him to do small exercise, since it will actually help him get better. To which he says that he had tried running before, but he says he is a type of a guy that gives up soon, and because of that he abandoned the idea to run. And she goes on by asking him if he got anything to do like a sports. To which he says that he doesn't really have anything to pass time. And all of a sudden, she says that he can actually try everything in his dreams. And she goes on by saying that he can actually play any sports, and he can go to any type of luxury gym. Hearing that he thinks anything is possible. And after a while, he was driving a cycle. Afterwards, she says that her bottom is hurting. After this, she asks him there is actually many better things. To which he says he would have already given up if she isn't watching over him from behind. And she asks him if he got anyone to watch over him like her. To which he says he doesn't have anyone. And she started to blush while saying that she will accompany him, since it's part of her job. Afterwards, he breaks and asks her on what did she said, since he couldn't able to hear her. After a while, he returns home fully exhausted. And he thinks to himself that working for overtime is really taking big toll on his vision. And he thinks to himself that he will first take a small nap. And so he sleeps. But then he realizes that someone is sleeping besides him. And he was shocked, and he asks her on who she is. And she wakes up and says sorry for sleeping in his bed. And he realizes that she got a horn, after hearing that she says thanks for taking care of Lily. and also she is the boss of Lily. After hearing that he also bows and says that Lily is actually taking care of him. Afterwards, she says that she just wanted to say thanks to him, since because of him Lily is actually in a good mood. And she goes on by saying that as a thanks, she will now show him a dream that he wants. To which he says it's just like Lily, so it doesn't really matter. And she goes on by insisting him by saying that there should be something for him that's hard to ask her. And he thinks to himself that difficult things. But she says like adult stuffs. But then Lily comes in from the window. But he just says that he wants them to give Lily some break. But this shocked the mommy. And she realizes that Lily is standing by the window. And she asks him, is that all he wants? To which he says it's actually hard to keep working without a break. Afterwards, she goes on by thinking that she was thinking to dry him out if he was turned out to be a bad guy. But she was worried for nothing. Afterwards, she says Thaish will take care of Lily's work schedule. After hearing that he asks her if he can do something to help her. To which she says that Lily got something better to do than taking any rest. Afterwards, she leaves by saying that she got work to do. And she leaves saying bye to him and Lily as well. But hearing Lily's name, MC was confused. And Lily was blushing, thinking don't say any unnecessary things manager. While blushing, afterwards due to Japan's vitality decrease, the succubus actually trying really hard to remake them. Afterwards, Lily was lying in her sofa, thinking what she should do now. And she realizes that there is a romance movie about a succubus and a human falling in love is going on. And after thinking about love, she thinks about the MC and her together. And she thinks to herself that she wants to watch the movie. But it's not like she have anyone to go with, since there will be a lot of couples be coming. And then she decides to call someone to go with. After 1 hour later, and she was standing in a place thinking that she came too early. And another succubus comes in, whose name is Shet, and she is a co-worker of Lily. Afterwards, coming Shet asks her on why she wants to meet up in a human world. To which she says that manager has given her 2 tickets for a movie. And she asks her to come with her. And she thinks to herself that she's not a fan of a romance story. But it will be rude of her to reject. And in the end, she accepts the offer. Afterwards, they were yapping while walking. And then Lily asks her on why she is wearing the succubus outfit. She may get caught. To which she says humans actually doesn't care about others that much. And while they were talking, someone bumps on them. But then Shet caught her and asked her if she is alright, which made that girl to blush. Afterwards, she asks sorry since she wasn't paying attention. But then Shet says that she is the one that should say thanks, since she was able to meet a charming woman like her, which made that girl to fall in love. After seeing that, Lily says that as expected from the lady succubus. Afterwards, she says that the vitality is not enough nowadays, so they decided to take women's as well. Afterwards, they arrive to the theater, and the woman that's working is also blushing to Shet. And Lily just tells her to hurry up. After coming into the theater, Shet asks her if something new happened while they weren't meeting. To which she just says that she got this tickets on coincidence. And both of them puts the glasses. And the movie starts. And then the human and the succubus got kicked out of the town for loving each other. Afterwards, he says that he loves her so much and he will always be with her. And then he asks her to tell her answer to him. But all of a sudden, she says that she can't be with him. To which he says that have her by his side is all he needs. To which she says that she is a succubus, a demon. And she says that he has been deceived by her. Afterwards, while crying, she says that it was fun for her to deceive him. But now she was bored of him. And she leaves by saying that they won't be meeting anymore. And in the end, the succubus never told her true feelings for the happiness to the human. And in the end, the movie ends. Afterwards, Shet says that it was worth coming. And the Lily says it was in a passing rate. Afterwards, Shet leaves, telling her to wait in the hallway while she is going to the toilet. After she is gone, Lily takes her glass. And she started to cry, saying why she didn't told her real feelings. After watching the movie, they went to do some shopping. While walking, Lily asks her that they should go to cafe and talk. But then Shet says what's with her clothes looking like that, to which she says that she has happened to be wearing it. And then Shet goes on by saying that as a succubus, they should always try to impress others. After hearing that she thinks that she is not longer interested in him. And in the end, they decided to buy clothes. Afterwards, at the clothing shop. Afterwards, Lily comes out wearing fully covered clothes. And seeing her, Shet asks her on what's with that printing. To which she tells her to try new dresses. Afterwards, she tried many clothes, and looking at that, Shet tells her to wear another one again and again. And then Shet started to think that Lily's fashion sense is really terrible. But she was wondering how to tell her that without hurting her feelings. But then Shet got a phone call, which was from her work, telling her to come since they are short-staffed. Afterwards, she leaves by telling her to not buy clothes now, and they will buy clothes when they are together. After that, she leaves the place. And then Lily heard someone saying that their boyfriend will be pleased to see them in that outfit. But hearing that, Lily was just looking at them. Afterwards, in the demon residential area, she was wearing the outfit they were talking about. And she thinks that he sure be pleased to see her in this. And she goes on by thinking that she can't wait till tomorrow. Afterwards, her manager comes in and taps on the window, saying that she looks beautiful in that dress. But Lily was shocked. And then the manager gives her dango to eat. And she goes on by saying her to take some break, since she is working so hard. And she says that guy will also like her to see her in this outfit, which made Lily to blush. At the next day, she was angry since it's raining. And she thinks to herself that she can't try the clothes she brought because of this rain. And she thinks that she will wear it another time. And arrives at his home. And she turns on the light. And she was shocked to see everything all over the place. And she started to think maybe someone broke in and started to steal everything. And suddenly she heard a door opening and she was shocked. And to her surprise, it was the MC, and he greets her. And after seeing him, she started to shout saying that he should call the police, since it looks like someone just broke in. To which he says he was looking for a document in the morning. And he left everything just like this. Afterwards, she tells him to at least tidy up his place, since what he will do if someone comes in to leave with him. To which he says that who would even want to live with a guy like him. To which she says that less human birth means it's bad for succubus. To which he says that he didn't found the important partner until now. And she tells him that he can find his partner in his dreams. And she tells him to get used to it by being a partner with someone he knows. But hearing that, he was shocked. And after a while in his dreams, he was having a cat. And after looking at that, she asks him on why the cat again. To which he says that he should first get used to living with a cat, and then the woman. And looking at that cat, she thinks that the cat is stealing her place again. And she goes on by getting angry on the cat. And he asks her if she said something. Afterwards, someone says over here. And it was that cat, and it says its name is Catbus, and it's an evil spirit that lives in the dream world. Hearing that, Lily was shocked. But MC was confused, since he didn't heard anything. Afterwards, the cat says that it's talking with her telepathically, and she can also talk with it by thinking. Afterwards, Lily was confused, since they are in a different world. To which it says it's that cat's ability. And then the cat says sorry for taking advantage of him last time. And it goes on by saying that as an apology, the cat will now be a mediator of getting them together, like making him give a back hug. Hearing that, she tells the cat to elaborate. And then the cat says the plan. And when he gets close, she should do her work as a succubus. After hearing that, she decides to play the plan. Afterwards, Lily says that the cat won't move from her lap, since it's now hungry. And then she goes on by telling him to bring something to the cat that it can eat. And she goes on by saying that the cat is now telling it's a drag to move, so he should feed it from behind her back. After hearing that, he asks her if she can understand the cat. To which she says it's normal for succubus. Afterwards, he says he learned something new and gives the food from behind, but this made her to blush. And she thinks to herself that it's beyond than what she thought. And she goes on by thinking not to forget the mood and the timing as well. Afterwards, she opens her eyes and sees his face near her, and she was shocked. And she goes on by thinking that his lips are really close. And she started to panic on inside. And in the end, she lifted the cat up by covering her face.